As a wrestling fan, very little stinks to high heaven more than watching your favourite wrestler lose their way into obscurity. You wonder about the why and the how of such a seemingly bizarre booking decision. You think about changing the channel, but ultimately, just pick a new favourite wrestler who isn't doing jobber duties. From losing streaks to embarrassing gimmicks to demotions down the card, and just disappearing into catering while their contracts wind down, these 10 talented performers have felt the suffocating horror of being buried by their employer. I'm Adam Wilborn from What Culture, and these are 10 great wrestlers that suffered burials. Number 10, Sasha Banks. The 4-time Raw Women's Champion has never had the joy of retaining her championship. One could say these hopelessly short title runs were a burial of sorts, but sadly, it doesn't stop there for this member of the Four Horsewomen. After a 5-month hiatus, the former fan favourite returned as a heel to feud with Becky Lynch. Demolished on the mic and in the ring, Banks was never allowed to look anywhere near Lynch's level and was sent packing to SmackDown shortly afterwards. Since joining the Blue Brand, Banks has been little more than Robin to Bayley's Batman, eating TV losses to heat up Bayley's challenges. A shadow of the beloved boss character from her NXT days and initial time on the main roster, Banks' star power has died a death since her return to TV last year. Unless WWE pulls the trigger on her splitting from and challenging Bayley, it's unlikely her prospects will be looking up anytime soon. Number 9, Davey Boy Smith Jr. When Davey Boy Smith Jr. joined New Japan back in 2012, the sky seemed the limit for the son of the British Bulldog. Over the next 2 years, he picked up clean singles wins over the likes of Hiroshi Tanahashi, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Katsuyori Shibata, as well as dominating the heavyweight tag division with Killer Elite Squad partner Lance Archer. After a stay in Pro Wrestling Noah with the rest of his Suzuki Gun allies, Smith returned to New Japan in 2017. This time, however, it appeared New Japan had lost the interest they once held in him. Beyond some brief tag title reigns with Lance Archer, Smith was denied entry into the G1 Climax and did little in singles beyond first-round losses to comedy favourite Toru Yano in the 2018 and 2019 New Japan Cups. Given how well received tag partner Lance Archer's solo run in 2019 was, it was especially frustrating that Smith was kept so low on the totem pole during his final years with the promotion. Number 8, Ted DiBiase Jr. Elimination Chamber 2010 should have been the start of Ted DiBiase Jr.'s rise to superstardom. Eliminating contentious legacy boss Randy Orton from the titular match, DiBiase, along with partner Cody Rhodes, I wonder what he's up to nowadays, seemed ready to turn on Orton, beat him, and move up the card. At WrestleMania 26, though, Legacy imploded with a weak triple threat match, handily defeated his former comrades. With the long-awaited Legacy feud now trampled in the dust, DiBiase was moved back to the mid-card, where he portrayed a rich kid in homage to his million-dollar man father. The character did little to heat DiBiase up, and his million-dollar championship proved to be an anchor. Quickly falling out of relevance, DiBiase would spend the rest of his WWE tenure being demoted lower and lower down the card before leaving in 2013. A series of awful booking decisions sadly derailed him completely and left him as the Jannetty of his and Cody Rhodes' once well-received tandem. Number 7, Booker T. How many times was it again? Oh yeah, 5-time WCW champion and one half of the greatest grocery store brawl all time, was a major victim of Triple H's reign of terror. Their feud proved to be one of WWE's most distasteful, with Triple H and Ric Flair throwing various racial epithets and insults Booker T's way in the quest for cheap heat. Perhaps this angle would have been more forgivable had Booker T, overcome his despicable foe at WrestleMania. Haha, nope. Instead, Booker T was demolished in a plodding match where all of his signature moves were kicked out of by the game. And then Triple H took about 20 bloody years between hitting Booker T with the pedigree and actually pinning him, making his challenger look even weaker in the process. Booker T spent the rest of 03, 04, and 05 as a mid-card act before finally being repackaged as a royal heel in 2006 and getting his long-awaited world title reign. While King Booker was an entertaining act, his reign felt too little, too late, and the 3 years prior were a waste of what could have been a premier babyface act for the promotion. Number 6, Rusev. I suppose the obvious question here is, which one? Transformed into a Vladimir Putin fanatic in 2014, Rusev enjoyed a lengthy undefeated streak until he fell foul of John Cena, losing to him 3 pay-per-views in a row in 2015. From there, he was demoted to a disastrous love triangle angle with wife Lana and Dolph Ziggler. A reboot in 2016 restored him to his initial anti-American character before being completely polarized by Roman Reigns and sent back to Jobberville. As a tweener, Rusev became a fan favorite in 2017 thanks to his Rusev Day catchphrase and humorous partnership with Aiden English. But WWE did little to take advantage of the popularity surrounding the two, and instead killed their partnership in a nonsensical mini-feud that never even made it to a pay-per-view blow-off. Last year, Rusev restored his fan-favorite status during his ridiculous feud with Bobby Lashley and Lana. WWE's response? Have him lose every step of the way before leaving TV altogether this year. It's rough going for a guy who keeps getting over, but hey, I hear AEW are looking for more Big Hoss additions on the roster. Just saying. Number 5, Cedric Alexander. One of the breakout stars of the Cruiserweight Classic tournament in 2016, Cedric Alexander won fans over with his gutsy babyface performances. After losing to Kota Ibushi in one of the finest matches held anywhere that year, Alexander received a standing ovation from an audience so thunderous that Triple H came out to confirm they'd be signing Alexander shortly. Uh-oh. Despite being reportedly well-liked backstage and by Raw's current booker Paul Heyman, Alexander has been reduced to jobber status for the most part, frequently being thrashed by the likes of AJ Styles and Cesaro in 2019. Oh, and let's not forget Gary the Goat Garbutt. Rumours have abounded that, well, you know who is not a fan and believes Alexander to lack the charisma necessary to be a big star. Whatever the reason, it is clear that Alexander could be doing so much more right now than what he's been given. Number 4, Samoa Joe. The man who revolutionized American independent wrestling thanks to his 21-month ROH Championship reign seemed destined for superstardom. With rumors of WWE planning to bury him should he sign, Joe instead opted to work with TNA, debuting as an unstoppable monster in 2005. Dominating the X Division, fans eagerly awaited his eventual conquest of the main event scene. Joe would have to wait until 2008 to get his hands on TNA's richest prize, and instead of taking the company to new heights, his reign was a flop filled with badly handled angles and disappointing showdowns. Joe was soon demoted back to the mid-card after dropping the title to Sting, and he was then repackaged as a knife-wielding maniac sporting some of the worst face paint and ring gear in the history of wrestling. Rumors have long persisted that Joe's fall from grace during his TNA tenure stems from off-camera disputes he had with then Booker, yep, you guessed it, Vince bloody Russo. Whatever the reason, TNA sabotaged one of their hottest prospects at the time, and Joe's main event potential has seemingly never been wholly realized. Number 3, Drew McIntyre. As Andy Murray himself would say, okay, it hasn't always been smooth sailing for the chosen one. I'm so sorry. Okay, it hasn't always been smooth sailing for the chosen one. Hey, Jimmy. I'm so sorry. Turning all the way back to 2009, a 24-year-old McIntyre was debuted by Vincent Kennedy McMahon himself. McIntyre received plentiful crowd heat too, thanks to his frequent mistreatment of SmackDown GM Teddy Long and hard-hitting matches with the likes of Kofi Kingston, Matt Hardy, and Kane. A sudden downturn in the Scottish psychopath's fortunes occurred after he dropped his Intercontinental Championship to Kofi Kingston. After a publicised altercation with then-wife Taryn Terrell at the Playboy Mansion and an unfortunate visa issue, WWE decided to pull the plug. Catapulting down the card, McIntyre often struggled for TV time at all, let alone victories. He was eventually repackaged as one-third of the comedy undercard act 3MB, with future WWE champion Jinder Mahal, still can't believe I'm saying that, and Heath Slater. Though amusing, 3MB's ceiling was painfully low, and McIntyre was released from the company in mid-2014. Fortunately, McIntyre ultimately overcame his burial thanks to a successful run on the Indies and his subsequent return to WWE in 2017. Number 2. MVP. Montel Vontavious Porter possessed all the traits of a main event player. He was a charismatic promo cutter, had crisp in-ring technique, a distinctive look, and a solid connection with audiences. Back in 2008, the sky seemed the limit for SmackDown's longest-reigning US champ. However, after a dispute with the doctor in charge of acquiring urine samples for drug testing, MVP's budding career took a terrible tumble. The ever-dreaded losing streak gimmick anchored MVP in the undercard for the rest of 2008, as he lost to everyone from Triple H and Jeff Hardy all the way down to random local jobbers. Porter was eventually paired with fellow floundering mid-carder Mark Henry, and despite immense potential as a double act, the two were given very little to run with, and MVP was granted his release in late 2010. Number 1. Matt Hardy. From his knee injury to his very public split with Lita and subsequent release from WWE, the mid-noughties, it's fair to say, weren't kind to the future deletion enthusiast. His look, though, seemingly changed when WWE agreed to bring him back for a heated feud with Edge, the other man in Matt and Lita's breakup. Most fans probably expected a babyface Hardy to overcome Lita and Edge before moving on to brighter things. Yeah, you haven't seen this show before, have you? Nope. Hardy wound up very decisively losing his program with the Rated R superstar and being banished to SmackDown in the process. From there, he ate pinfalls like they were going out of fashion, losing to just about everyone up and down the card. Due to his airing of the dirty laundry between himself, Lita, and Edge publicly, Hardy had infuriated WWE, and they brought him back, it appeared, to make an example out of him. Lovely. Nowadays, though, it appears he is doing wonderfully in what I like to call all-delete wrestling. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Let us know in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Plus, you can check out more recent videos here. Thanks for watching. I've been Adam from What Culture, and I'll see you soon.